Hey guys, before we get started, I just want to tell you about Olivia Crittenden. She was last heard on Saturday, October 7th at 10:30 a.m. She was on her way to Flagstaff, Arizona, driving a gray Kia Soul with the license plate CRITT1 from Arizona. She is 5'7", 130 pounds, has ties with Pocatello, Idaho, and could be anywhere from Arizona to Idaho. I just wanted to get her picture out there real quick. But today I'm going to tell you a story about a very sweet young couple. I'm sure everybody's heard about it because it does have ties to Gabby Petito, but I want their story told. So here we go. A young couple exploring the countryside together have their lives cut short by a heartless, devastating act of pure violence on a dark desert night. Kylen Carol Schulte was born on September 5th, 1996, to Sean Paul Schulte and Valerie Carr Schulte in Vail, Colorado. Growing up, Kylen was an active, artistic, and vibrant little girl, a blessing to all that met her. But sadly, tragedy struck this sweet family on May 17, 2005. Kylen's little brother and best friend, Macion, he was also known as Mac or Mackie, was fatally shot outside of his friend's bedroom window. You see, Mackie and another friend were having a sleepover, and they snuck out of the house to go to this other friend's house. And they knocked on the window. They were throwing pebbles, trying to wake him up to come outside to hang out. The friend said he woke up and was terrified to see two faces in the shadows, and he didn't recognize either one. So he grabbed a gun that his parents actually let him have in his bedside table, and he shot through the glass. Mackie was shot in the head and died at the age of 15. And Kylen was devastated. According to her dad, she had already been experiencing some type of abuse. He doesn't specify what was going on, but some type of abuse in the home, and was only staying there to protect her little brother. And she had a very difficult time coping with his death and had even contemplated ending her own life. But one day, her dad, Sean Paul, recommended that she move to Moab, Utah, where he lives, kind of to start over, so to speak. And so that's what she did. I think it was January of 2016. She actually moved to Moab. Now, Moab is beautiful. It has breathtaking scenery, super friendly people, full of tourist spots, and it was just the perfect place. Kylen fit right in. And she even later told her dad that moving to Moab saved her. Kylen eventually began working at the Moonflower Community Cooperative in downtown Moab as a cashier and hat model. It's kind of like a grocery store that has freshly homegrown vegetables from the area, and I guess they even have lunch and stuff. You can go and have soup. She loved her job. She was always there with a smile on her face, and by all accounts, Kylen was just a ray of sunshine. She brightens up her room with her big smile and warm laughter, and everyone just loves her. Now, one day in 2019, Kylen and her dad go hiking. I guess they go on a lot of hikes and do things together like that, but this particular time was special because they ran into Crystal Turner. And Crystal and Kylen instantly hit it off, bonding over their love for the outdoors and nature. It was just an instant connection. And her dad said that after that chance meeting with Crystal, that Kylen blossomed. So not only did Moab change her and save her, but it sounds to me like Crystal played a really big part in her happiness. Crystal Michelle Beck Turner was born December 30th, 1982 in Hot Springs, Arkansas, to Obie and Beverly Turner. Now, I haven't heard about this from anywhere else other than Crystal's Facebook, but she sadly leaves behind a son and 2 daughters. I don't know anything about them. I wouldn't say anything about them if I did, but just that she had 3 children. She worked at the local McDonald's, and coworkers and customers all just adored Crystal. She was a bright, happy person, always bringing joy and laughter to those around her, a ray of sunshine just like Kylen. There's not a whole lot of information on Crystal. She seems to be more of a private person. But what I did find out was she was just a loving, warm person with a love for the outdoors, a passion for exploring, with a really big heart. She was funny, always making everyone around her laugh, athletic, and one of her favorite things to do was ride her Harley. And she and Kylen rode it often. Eventually, Kylen and Crystal fell in love. They actually married in April of this year, and they were just so happy. And Sean Paul actually reminisces in one of his interviews, sitting at the park waiting on the girls. He said he would sit there at this particular picnic table and wait. They would come around the corner and just ride up on their Harley. And that is actually the place I'm going to talk about later, where he was setting up a clue box. But back to the story. The girls did a lot of camping in the areas around Moab, so this last trip was not unlike any other. And they had found a spot down a winding road right by a tiny little creek. The last time the girls are officially seen was on Friday, August 13th. They were seen in a local hotspot called Woody's Tavern with 2 other friends. They're seen on security camera, smiling, having a fun and quiet evening with friends. Nobody there noticed anything out of the ordinary, and nobody else is seen approaching the girls at the bar. And nobody is seen following them out when they left. And they left around 9 p.m. with their friends. But that is the last that we know of what happened to these girls. But while they were at the bar, Kylen and Crystal tell their friends about who they called a creepy guy at their campsite. He allegedly decided to camp right next to them and was just giving them the creeps. They didn't go into detail about what he looked like or what he was doing specifically. So sadly, we don't have any other details other than he was creepy. And they said that he had left and came back with more supplies, like he was intending on staying longer. So they told their friends that they were going to have to move their campsite. And if you look at the maps that I found of the campsite, there's really no reason whatsoever for anyone to be camped that close to them, because it's nothing but open land. He could have camped anywhere. Why did he choose that specific spot? If it wasn't to even just antagonize them. But the sad and ironic thing is that Kylen told her friends at the bar that if anything happens to them, they were murdered. So I don't know if it was a joke or if she has some sort of sixth sense, but that was pretty eerie that she said that. Now, after that, Crystal, see, they didn't have to work all weekend. They were off Saturday, but Crystal was scheduled to work on Sunday and missed a shift, which is already unlike her, but I guess they let it go. And then she missed again on Monday. And Monday, Kylen missed work. So just the fact of the girls missing work and not calling in is already something they would never do. They were very dependable. If they did miss work, they always called in. So both McDonald's and the Moonflower, allegedly, I'm told, alerted authorities, because by the time their father, Sean Paul, calls to report them missing, they already knew this and said that they had already issued an attempt to locate, which an attempt to locate is really just the police try to locate the person, try to contact them, confirm it's them, and make sure they're okay. But I know he was upset, and a lot of people are upset with the fact that they didn't do anything more. They waited. And the dad, Sean Paul, at first he just thought maybe the girls had car trouble or they got lost. Everybody knew they went camping, but not specifically where they were staying. So, which anybody, if you're going to go anywhere off like that, please let someone know where you're going specifically. And I wish they had, but maybe somebody could have got to them sooner. Okay, back to the story. So there's an attempt to locate. They still haven't located them. They're not really looking for them hard, in the opinion of family members and friends. So August 17th, Sean Paul took to social media, and he makes a post. He asks Moab residents for help. And, I'll post as you're posting it for you to see. He asks anybody just to keep an eye out, look for their Kia, because the black van and the Harley were still parked at McDonald's. So they were accounted for. So surely they must be in the Kia. So he's asking people to look for the Kia if you've seen it, or if you see the girls, or just keep an eye out. Well, a family friend, Cindy Sue, sees his plea, and she thinks on it a while, and just something inside her tells her to go look. So she loads up her vehicle, bottled water, whatever else she thought she needed, and heads out to look for the girls. And she actually searched for several hours. I think she said it was 5. And, as long as she'd see someone walking or driving by or camping or hiking, she would stop everybody she saw and show them a picture of the girls to see if they had seen her. Then after a few hours, she gets worn out, and somehow she said Sean Paul calls her just to kind of check in to see how she's doing, and she was surprised at this because she ordinarily would not have service where she was. But miraculously, she did, and he got through. So she's actually talking to Sean Paul on the phone as she's searching. Well, she's going down this road. She says she sees like a flicker of light or silver in the corner of her eye, and she looks, and from the road, she can see a campsite. And allegedly, the police even looked down this road, so the fact that they didn't see this campsite or didn't search it, makes me question if they even went down that road. But so she goes just to check it out, see if it's theirs. She's not sure. She walks up towards it and comes to a small campsite, and there's the silver Kia. So, oh my God, she's telling Sean Paul, the Kia's here. I found their campsite. So she's still talking to him as she's exploring. She walks past like a pile of empty Gatorade bottles. Walks closer towards the little creek, which they say it's a tiny little creek, like not even 2 foot wide. And she sees Kylen laying in the creek. And she instantly turns around and is traumatized. This is the best way I can put it. Sean Paul told her later that she started rambling like nonsense and about how the creek is so pretty, and he didn't really understand what was going on. But it was like she was trying to erase from her mind what she just saw. And she tells him, I found Kylen. And he realizes what she's trying to say. So he screams at her to run to the car, don't look back, get in the car, lock the door, wait for police. Because what if the killer is still there? And he's worried that she could be in danger. So she does what he says. She goes, sits in the car, and says she waits for like over an hour for authorities to show up. And they finally arrive, and she points him in the direction. They go look, they find Kylen, and then I don't know if it was further down the creek or just a little more in the distance, they find Crystal. And they are both nude from the waist down with multiple gunshot wounds. They said one was only wearing a tank top and the other had on a bra that was pulled up her chest, leaving her exposed. So to me, it sounds like it's more than just murder. It's a SA crime as well. So now I'm thinking, what happened on that night? When the girls got back from the bar, did they come back and try to move their camp? Was someone waiting in the dark for them to return? What did they go through before they got shot? And also, like, not even half a mile from where they were camping was a wedding party. They were there Friday and Saturday night. Less than half a mile. I don't understand why, unless they had a lot of talking and music, maybe then I could understand not hearing multiple gunshots. But I would think that would echo, through those mountains. But I don't know. I wasn't there. But the father of the bride gave the guest list to the police. There was about 100 guests. And he also let them know where everybody was staying at the Whispering Oaks Ranch. Whispering Oaks Ranch. I don't know why that was hard to say. But he openly gave that information to police. And what bothers me is that nobody at that wedding has been questioned as of yesterday when I last looked. Nobody had been questioned, nobody fingerprinted, nobody interviewed, and then coming back and just driving down that road to the wedding. What if they saw a vehicle other than that Kia? What if they saw a person other than those girls? Why have these people not been questioned? I don't understand. And the fact that police are saying to the locals, oh, you don't have to worry. There's not a killer on the loose. Don't worry about it. You're good. Tourists can still come spend their money. How do they know that there's nothing to worry about unless they know, or at least have an idea of who the killer is? Do they have a suspect? And do they know that the suspect's not in the area? The only way, in my opinion, for them to know that is if they think that it's Brain Laundrie. And the reason I say that is because he is the only person that we know that they have DNA for that was in the area. Now, there might be someone else that was in the area that's already been in trouble and is already in CODIS, already has his DNA and fingerprints in the system. That could very well be it too. But we know they have Brian's DNA, and we know Brian was in the area. So, and the fact that then the day that, I don't want to make this about Gabby and Brian's case because it's a whole nother thing, but the fact that the day that they got in a fight, they were at the Moonflower Community Cooperative in Moab, Utah, where Kylen works. And she worked that day. She just finished her shift around 2 p.m., and according to Brian, they were there for a while, so chances are they at least saw each other. So Brian and Gabby get into a large fight. Witnesses report it to police. Then they get pulled over. Because of this argument, Brian and Gabby were separated for that night, and this was the 12th, Thursday. So Gabby allegedly stayed somewhere in the van. We haven't been informed of where she was specifically, but Brian got a hotel provided by the local women's shelter. And that motel was the Bowen Motel in Moab, and I have maps. Guess where that's located? It's just feet from the Moonflower, and about 4 blocks, just like a 6 or 7 minute walk down from the famous Woody's Tavern, the last place Kylen and Crystal were seen alive. So, the night of the 12th, Brian's allegedly all alone. What did he do in those hours without Gabby is anyone's guess. But we do know he loves going on walks. Did he take a walk that night down the streets of Moab? Did he bump into the girls at Woody's, outside Woody's? Did he try to get revenge on those that reported him to police earlier at the Moonflower? And just happened to remember seeing Kylen work there? Because Kylen has a very memorable face. She's gorgeous. And if he did see her that day, I imagine he wouldn't have forgotten her face anytime soon. Or did he not want to stay in that motel? I mean, he kind of seems like a spoiled little brat. And that hotel's not the nicest. So maybe he decided he'd rather go camping. So did he decide to go camp near them to harass them? I mean, I only wonder how he would have gotten there, because we all know he likes to hitchhike, and he's capable and willing to do that. Or what if he saw the girls, out and about and convinced them to give him a ride? They're very caring people, and him being so manipulative, can't talk today. He could have given them some sob story about him and his girlfriend. So I could see them trying to give him a ride. I really could. Or did he get the van from Gabby after the police left them? We have no idea where she went that night, and we have no idea what he did. He could have easily convinced her to drive him somewhere or let him use the van while she stayed at the hotel. But the night of the 13th, which is the next day, after him and Gabby would have gotten back together, if he did indeed go and sign that paper that the police informed him he had to do, we don't know where they stayed that night, or if they were together all night, or if Brian head out alone for a while. I mean, these are just theories that have crossed my mind. I also think that it could be a creepy local that stays out in the mountains. They say there are a few creepers in that area, so that's highly possible. But for the local police to tell everyone not to worry either means they have a good idea of who it is, or they care more about losing out on the tourism money that's about to significantly increase due to autumn season coming up. And if we find out that Gabby was shot, they'll compare the ballistics from her crime scene to that of Kylen and Crystal's. So, but we do not know what Gabby's cause of death was right now. And by all accounts, these two ladies were very tough girls. They both have been through a lot in life, and everyone thought they could handle themselves if trouble ever showed up. But going up against a firearm is another story. But I can guarantee this, though, they did not go down without a fight. And that could very well be why there's so many gunshot wounds. They wouldn't go down. I know they fought. I know they had to have gotten skin cells under their fingernails or hair between their fingers. I just pray the water from the creek and all that rain that fell while they were out there did not destroy all the possible DNA. I really hope that's not the case. Also, the fact that the local police, they just don't seem to be as active in this as many of us would like, and the fact that it happened on federal land, and quite possibly the culprit is no longer in that state. Why has the FBI not taking over the lead on this case? There's actually a petition on change.org. I'm going to post that in the information. Please go and sign it. It is to get the FBI to take over this case. I see no reason why they haven't already. I don't understand it, but maybe you guys know. Maybe you can let me know, because I don't. But their dad, Sean Paul, he actually got some really great clues. He set up a clue box. He had it up at Swanee Park, and that is the same park I told you about earlier, where he would sit at that picnic table and wait for the girls to ride up. Somebody actually turned in a set of keys that were at the crime scene. They were down in some mud, and he said that there are 2 tags on it, like membership tags, which one was for an old gym that no longer exists, and you can't really get any information off of that one. But the other one is a little harder to decipher where it's from. Is it from a grocery store? Where's it from? So they're actually working on that. But if they unlock that little mystery, then maybe, just maybe, it will lead to the killer. And another reason why I think it's Brian, did Brian lose some keys? I mean, did you know that the day he flew home to Florida was the very same day that these beautiful ladies were reported missing? And why did he fly instead of drive? Why did Gabby stay at the Fairfield Inn the whole time he was gone? And while she was there, why did she have to have her dad order her food and have it sent to the room? Did she leave her wallet in the car or the van and it was locked up? They couldn't get in, they couldn't drive anywhere because they lost the keys? I don't know, kind of makes me wonder. It's just like a big puzzle, and all these little pieces are coming together, and it might have nothing to do with it. But I just wonder if one of those keys fit into that van's ignition. Let's see, what day was it he left? He left on the 17th to fly home. That is the day they were reported missing, and it's also the last time Brian posted on Instagram from Moab. He returned on the 24th, and then Gabby was last seen on the 25th. So a lot of things are adding up in my mind. All clues have been turned over as evidence, but this father, Sean Paul, has endured so much heartache. First he loses his son at 15, and now this happens to Kylen and Crystal. And he's continuing to fight. He fights for these girls, and they deserve justice. The family deserves to know what happened to their daughters, their mama, their sisters, their aunts, and their friends. They are so loved by everyone that knew them. They were both bright lights in this world, and they were kind and generous, beautiful inside and out. And they had just gotten married. They were so in love with each other. I can't see any reason why anyone would want to hurt these 2 ladies. It was an evil, disgusting, and senseless act. And this murderer needs to be caught. There's a maniac out there, and I can guarantee this was not his first time hurting women, and it will not be his last. So please help me spread their story. Maybe someone out there knows something, saw something on those days in August that they never thought was important. And I'm actually going to attach the 2 GoFundMe links for both Kylen and Crystal's families. Kylen has been buried buried back in Billings to be next to her baby brother. But Crystal's family said they intend on giving Kylen's family a little necklace with some of Crystal's ashes in it to put with Kylen's body so that they're still together. But now, we know they're in heaven. They're together, and Kylen's with Mackie, and they're looking down and watching over the ones they love until the day they can come home too and join them in heaven. And I truly believe that. Sean Paul has stated that Kylen was his sunshine and Crystal was his moonbeam. And he also states that, quote, "Our job now is to keep Crystal and Kylen's light shining." These girls did not deserve what happened to them. I can only imagine what they went through that night. Someone took the lives of two beautiful, amazing women, but he couldn't dim their lights or take their spirits. I feel like they will live on in the hearts of their friends and family and all the people like me whose lives they've touched. But they're not being talked about enough. And I know the more people share their story, the more it helps. It helps people that may have been in the area. Maybe they haven't heard about this yet. Maybe they haven't heard about the girls. They went home from their vacation and doing this, that, and the other, and have no idea that two beautiful women were murdered back where they were. And maybe they have something on their dash cams. You never know. But help me spread the word on them and tell their story. We need everyone, especially tourists that have been in this area and around the 13th of August. You may have seen something, and it may be insignificant to you, or you may have footage or pictures on your camera or phone or your dash cam that's vital to this case. And regardless of that, their story just needs to be told, and they deserve a voice. They deserve their justice. I'll continue to do my part for Kylen and Crystal, but I can't do it alone. I need your help. I'll continue to dig and I'll update when I can. And just pray for Kylen and Crystal and their families. And pray for Gabby and her family. I pray that they find Brian, because he may be the only one with any answers, at least for Gabby. But thank you for stopping by to see what I have to say. I love y'all so much, and I appreciate you.